What a win for Zimbabwe then. We are back on pitch side, and what a performance. You've got to say, Zimbabwe in their 20 overs made 162 for 8. Bennett amongst the top scorers once again. Sikandar Raza, you can never really take him out of the action. 47 in just 32 balls. And in response, Sri Lanka were bundled out for 95. Evans took 3 wickets, but Ngrava with that wonderful opening spell in that power play. You've got to say, overall, it was a clinical performance by Zimbabwe, and they won it by 67 runs. We're back on pitch side just discussing this win of Zimbabwe over Sri Lanka, and we've also been joined by a very, very special guest, somebody who's provided much needed impetus at the top for Zimbabwe. I've been joined by Brian Bennett, and alongside him we've got Pommy Mbangwa. Brian, firstly, congratulations on the win. Fantastic win for you. Now it's 249s for you. Twice in a row we've seen that. It seems to be the golden number. One short of a half century. You know, it was really good watching you out there. What was it like for you?
Yeah, obviously 49's not too much on my brain whilst I'm out there in the middle, but yeah, obviously it was nice to get the runs on the board in the last 2 games. Bit of confidence going into the series, so hopefully I can carry on for the next 2 games.
Now, you spoke about, the fact that it gives you a lot of confidence, and just in terms of you start well on a positive note. What is the plan, though? Because we've seen Zimbabwe has done well in the power play against Pakistan, and now you're seeing it against Sri Lanka as well. So what's been the talk around how to approach that power play?
I think it's just mainly just playing your games, knowing where your scoring areas are, and just being positive up in the middle, up in the top there. Yeah, look, listen, the conditions are a bit different. It's my first time in Pakistan, so it's more of just like trying to adapt and just know where I can score my shots. And that's really the same thing as just keeping it simple as well.
What is it that the guys who've been before told you to expect in turning up here with regard to the wickets?
Yeah, obviously with the dew factor there is a bit of difference there. We don't get that in Zimbabwe, so just maybe a bit of a skiddy nature. That's really the main thing that we've sort of talked about, and maybe some swing there at the top of the order as well. So not too much to talk about, but yeah.
As a young guy, I mean, aggression is generally the way it goes in 2020 cricket, isn't it? Tempering that with regard to the plan. In the first 6, you've got to kind of try and take it to the bowlers, but to do it kind of cautiously or responsibly enough. What are the discussions with coaches amongst batters as you set your stall out?
I think the main thing is there when you walk in for the power play is just to be positive. Yeah, not to be reckless, but try and know where your scoring shots are, like I said before. Yeah, and there's not being reckless, just in the gaps. There's obviously field restrictions, so if you get the gap early on, it's normally 4 as well. So yeah, it's just keeping it simple, and yeah.
I thought you'd say something like, nah, I just whack it. Doesn't matter what the situation is, I go in first and I whack it. Have you found it easy enough to adjust from format to format? Because you're right up at the top of the order all the time. So do you change anything particularly?
Obviously in the test matches it's a little bit different. But in the white ball cricket, 50 overs and T20s, I like to be attacking. I don't change my game too much. There's a saying that I always say is see ball, hit balls. That's what I try to go by as well. I
mean, you know, Pommy spoke about whacking the ball from word go, but just in this format, you know, how important is rotation of strike? Because I know we talk about being positive, we talk about hitting those boundaries, but just rotating the strike, talk about the significance of that.
I think definitely it is an important factor in the game. I think in the power play it is a little bit harder to try to rotate the strike, obviously with the field restrictions. But I think, yeah, definitely in the power play, if you can do that, if you're not getting the boundary, I think it puts the bowlers a bit under pressure, especially with Zimbabwe, but right hand, left hand in the top order. So, yeah, definitely rotating the strike in the power play is definitely a big thing, but it is much more difficult in the power play than later on.
You're 2? Yeah?
Yeah.
Turning 23 this year, or no already?
I had 2 and 22 about 10 days ago.
Okay, well, happy birthday from me. In kind of discussing what you do as an experienced player, and I'm talking about gleaning stuff from the guys who are senior in your team and the guys who are trying to sort of pass off as much information as they can to you. What is it that has been formulated on this particular trip so that you guys are ready, not just for here, but for India as well?
I think it's just mainly the preparation. I think for me, the more I do before I come into bat in the actual match, the nets I do, the footage I watch of bowlers, I think that really helps when I come into the game. I'm very clear and I don't have too much things going in my head. So I think that's mainly what we try to do, just prepare well, so when you come into the match, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Also, just, parting thoughts. We don't want to keep you here. You can go back and celebrate. But Sikandar Raza, he's just such a force to reckon with overall when you see him, his contributions on the field. But his leadership, what is his leadership like? I mean, is he one of those, you have different leadership styles. Some guys like to be slightly more authoritarian in that regard. Some are more sort of the kind who take the team together. And what is his leadership style?
I think, yeah, definitely I've played all my T20s under Raza, so I think he's just someone that backs, we are quite a young team, so he's just someone that backs his teammates. There's not too much, I don't know how to say it, but he just literally backs us, and he backs us whatever we want to do, whatever our plans are. He says, all right, go do that. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well then, oh well, at least you tried. So that's the main thing.
Well, the main thing is that it's worked today. But thank you so much for your thoughts. Thank you for being here. Wonderful contribution once again from Brian Bennett. We're going to take a short break, and when we do come back on pitch side, we'll be joined by Russell Arnold. We're back on pitch side, just discussing Zimbabwe's phenomenal win against Sri Lanka. We've now been joined by Russell Arnold. Russ, not the day for Sri Lanka, not the way they would have wanted it to be. I mean, where do you think they faltered?
Sometimes better not say anything. It was that type of performance.
That was a long pause there for me.
He was trying to make you uncomfortable because he felt uncomfortable himself. Carry on, come on. I know he's going to say something.
We're totally
He's going to keep himself in check, and he'll keep his temper, and he'll be all right. Come on, Russ.
All right,
let's go. Well, you're just seeing this game. For me, it's been over a period of time, as I've been saying about more things, where this team needs to go, the intensity, maintaining that high level of performances. They surprise teams, or surprise all of us with their performance now and again, but more often than not, it's been like this. They need to find a way to consistently keep performing at that high level. Third game, out of the last 3 games against Zimbabwe, twice bowled out for under 100. And that's going back to September. So there itself, it shows there's something wrong here. In between 202 against India, the game was a tie. So they are capable, but the thought process is in question for me, and it's nothing about the skill. It's about being there all the time, winning moments, playing the 40 overs, not showing up and expecting the opposition to roll over and give you that win. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, it just didn't seem they were at the races actually today. From a body language perspective, with the way things went. Yes, in the field, you kind of looked around and thought they're doing a decent enough job, and we would have all been happy with 162 on the board, and felt that when they got Sikandar Raza out, they actually did themselves a great service there, because it might well have gone up to 170, 180. So to chase 162, they'd have felt pretty good. But then when they came out, just never got going. Absolutely nobody at all.
They look very confused. The running between the wickets indicated where they were at, and the understanding in between. So the wheels just came off so easily, and there didn't seem to be any idea what to do. I'll go back to that point because it's a tournament. Net run rate will come into it. Towards the end, they just were turning runs down. At least get to 110, 120. You're still in the hunt.
But you spoke about, I mean, Russell spoke about the fact that, Zimbabwe has managed to get Sri Lanka out, well, under 100 at least thrice now. So clearly, Zimbabwe is doing something right. We're talking about that power play, the bowling in the power play. They've got Ngrava and, all the resources. But the execution, Pommy, has just been brilliant.
Yeah, so coming to this tri-series, and each time Zimbabwe goes anywhere, they want to have their best team available. We spoke before the game against Pakistan that Mzarabani is not here, so that's a big chunk out of their team. But the guy at the other end with him is Richard Ngarava. He's fantastic. He gets the ball to swing, he gets steep bounce, and right at the beginning there, got it on target and managed to get a wicket. And if you can do that game after game after game, you certainly do give your team a chance, especially if you've got some runs on the board. And today, as we said at the halfway stage, it was kind of a middling score, and you needed to swell it with getting wickets early, and he managed to do that.
Forever, for me, you guys, even from the days we played, they were never an easy beat. We would win more matches, but they're always competing. And the moment they get a sniff, they show the energy like they did today. The fielding picked up, they were throwing themselves all over. It's amazing to see that. So if you're not there, they're looking to push them and trip them, they're going to get over you.
Also in the previous game, you heard that statement from Sikandar Raza where he said, we're getting close enough, but it's not good enough to just be getting close enough. We have to try and get over the line. That kind of attitude, it's refreshing.
Yeah, well, international cricket just has a standard, and the standard requires that you win. And so you've got to play up to that standard, and if you're not, you're going to get turned over just about every time. And I'm not talking about a particular team turns up and they can just roll the next one over. No, it's not taken for granted. That's standard. You've got to present it every single time. And today, Zimbabwe, from the bat, kind of went about it in a method that was better than yesterday and executed that little bit better. They'll still feel they didn't get 100% right because getting to 162 was below where they should have got to. They'd have liked to get to 170, 180. Still got things to fix up, but then came out in the field and were much, much better. So it's good to be winning a game against a side you're familiar with. Yes, they play Sri Lanka enough times, and so they won't fear them, but they've got to ensure that they can correct something else and come back and even be better the next time out.
Well, constant improvement is what Pami is talking about. The method was great. The execution was great. So good on Zimbabwe to get those points on board on that table. But the action continues here in this tri-series as the next game, which is going to be on the 22nd of November, is going to be Pakistan taking on Sri Lanka. And the coverage will be starting at 5:25 p.m. All right, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your thoughts. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on Pitchside, but that's pretty much all that we have for you from here. It's good night from Pindi, and we'll see you guys on the 22nd of November when Pakistan take on Sri Lanka.